どうも、2.0で始めたいと思います。今日1175回目が終わってですね、実際に、もともと出していた事前のですね、アイリーナのところの、再エネ3倍みたいなところのですね、話がですね、ある程度決まってきたみたいな宣言にも書かれてきたところになったので、このあたりを実際にちょっと復習してみようかなと思っています。実際、20ロードマプリが、the triply and 2030 release renewable energy, IRENA, and global renewable enable include infrastructure regulation, supply chain skill, and capacity, finance, and international collaboration. Report supports key pillar of the COP28 presidency action agenda to fast track just and orderly energy transition. Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates, 30 October 2023, the COP28 presidency, the International Renewable Energy Agency, IRENA, and Global Renewable Alliance, GRA, launched a joint report today on the sideline of the COP event in Abu Dhabi, titled Tripling Renewable Power and Doubling Energy Efficiency 2030, Crucial Step Toward 1.5 CCM. The report provides actionable policy recommendation for governments and the private sector on how to increase global renewable energy capacity and at least 11,000 gigawatts. While agency improvements in the target period, objective of fast tracking a just and orderly energy transition to keep 1.6 Cesium within reach. The meeting held in Abu Dhabi a month ahead of deployment of renewable power generation. And among the most important level, I'm now calling on everyone to come together, commit to common targets, and take comprehensive domestic and international action as outlined in this report to make our ambitions a reality. IRENA Director General renewable power capacity by 2030. This warns that the energy transition is dangerously off track, demanding immediate radical corrective action. This report outlines actions governments must prioritize to fast track the global energy transition and keep 1.5 sim alive. Bruce Douglas, Global Renewable Alliance CEO, said tripling renewable energy and doubling energy efficiency is the most impactful commitment policymakers can make to combating climate change. These steps will deliver cleaner electricity systems, open up access to affordable energy, and deliver clean, green jobs for millions of people. The rapid upscaling of renewable energy will require policymakers to work hand in hand industry, and civil society to urgently implement the enabling actions in this report. Infrastructure and system operation, policy and regulation, and supply chain skills and capacities. Critically, these areas must be reinforced by low-cost financing and international collaboration to work together to secure a livable future for all. The report which draws extensively on the analysis presented in IRENA's World Energy Transition Outlook 2023 1.5 cc pathway divides the key enablers into 5 sections covering infrastructure and system operation, power grids, energy storage, and use electrification, sector coupling and infrastructure planning, demand-side management, policy and regulation, improving energy efficiency, market incentives, and fiscal policy, power market design and regulations, streamlining permitting, reducing negative impacts, maximizing social and environmental benefits, supply chain skills and capacity, building resilient supply chain, education, training, and capacity building, scaling up public and private finance, enhancing international collaboration. The collaboration between the COP28 presidency, IRENA, and the GRA reflects the growing global consensus on achieving these targets. Ahead of COP28, the presidency and the European Commission are calling for countries to support the global renewable and energy efficiency pledge, with champion countries also committed to supporting these global targets. Tripling renewable power and doubling energy efficiency by 2030, crucial steps toward 1.5 system. まさにこれが3倍ですね。Renewable power 3x. Our success in reducing global house gas emissions this decade will determine whether global temperature rise can be limited to 1.5 cm. According to IRENA's World Energy Transition Outlook 2023, global energy-related CO2 emissions will need to decline significantly to 23 gigatons of CO2 in 2030, from the record high of 36.8 gigatons CO2 in 2022. IRENA's 1.5 system scenario identifies a technically and economically feasible pathway to an energy future that is consistent with Paris Agreement goals. It concludes that energy efficiency and electrification powered by renewables, clean hydrogen, and direct use of renewables are driving the transition. But the sheer scale and extent of this transition requires a rapid and systemic transformation of the energy system. Despite the progress achieved to date, the current deployment of energy transition technologies is insufficient in speed and scale to achieve the Paris Agreement goals. The energy transition requires an urgent and significant acceleration across energy supply, end-use sectors, and enabling technologies, particularly the deployment of renewable power generation systems in more countries and regions. By 2030, global total installed renewable power generation capacity would need to expand more than threefold, from 3,382 gigawatts in 2022 to 11,174 gigawatts. According to IRENA's 1.5 system scenario, specifically, installed solar PV capacity would rise to more than 5,400 gigawatts from 1,055 gigawatts in 2022, and wind installation would surpass 3,500 gigawatts, 3,040 gigawatts onshore and 500 gigawatts offshore, up from 899 gigawatts in 2022. Over the same period, the share of variable renewable energy, VREs, such as solar and wind power in electricity generation would rise from 10% of the total electricity generated in 2021 to 46% by 2030, requiring additional flexibility in the operation of the energy system. After solar PV and wind power, the third largest increase in generation capacity would be in hydropower by 2030. Global installed hydropower capacity, excluding bamboo hydro, would grow by almost 17% from the 2022 level, reaching 1,465 gigawatts under the IRENA 1.5 scenario. Future one key performance indicator for achieving the 1.5 system scenario in the decade for action. Total installed capacity gigawatt. Recent year 2022, 8,399, 2030, 14,462. Total installed renewable capacity, 303,382, 11,174. Total generation, 28,365 kilowatt hour, 40,140 kilowatt. Renewable energy share in generation, 25% to 68%. BRE share in generation, 10% to 46%. Renewable energy share in installed capacity, 40% to 70%. This suggested average renewable energy capacity additions of approximately 1,000 gigawatt each year in the current decade. めちゃくちゃでかい1000ギガワットですね。More than 3 times the installed renewable capacity added in 2022, 292 gigawatt, including 189 gigawatt of solar and 73 gigawatt of wind power. まさに2292ギガワットが2020に追加されてないので、1000ギガワットっていうの3倍ぐらいになってくると。With average annual additions of 551 gigawatt of solar PV and 329 gigawatt of wind power to 2030. Solar PV and wind power would dominate annual power generation capacity addition this decade. Energy storage capacity would expand in tandem, with cumulative global battery storage increasing by a factor of 21 from 17 gigawatt in 2020 to 359 gigawatt in 2030. Renewable power addition this decade may not be linear, however, with many factors impacting the rate of growth. Given that annual installation level in 2022 were less than 1/3 of the 1,000 gigawatt average annual installation rate required to 2030 and IRENA's 1.5 system scenario, growth of renewable power technologies over the remaining period of this decade will need to accelerate immediately. Some projections of solar growth foresee that 1,000 gigawatt of annual solar PV installations alone may be reached as soon as 2028. To meet the tripling renewable power targets, annual renewable additions need to ramp up as fast as possible and as early as possible in this decade. In accelerating the deployment of renewable power capacity areas to investment high energy potential in 4 key markets: China, EU 27, the United States, and India, accounting for more than 50% of offshore wind deployment by 2030. By hydropower, G20 countries together would account for 79%, over 1,150 gigawatt of global hydropower capacity by 2030, with all capacity spread across the rest of the world. 2022, is a wind of share, wind of share. It is important that renewable power generation capacity, including both grid-connected and off-grid systems, expands more rapidly in the developing world. Given its growing electricity demand, renewables can and should play an important role in addressing the significant energy access deficit in developing countries through both grid and off-grid. Currently, despite vast potential of their deployment of renewable power systems and related investment, for instance, of the cumulative investment of USD 2,800 for energy in 20 percent. And it's not only beneficial from a spectacular declining in cost to USD 0.049, made solar PV's global weighted average LCOE 29% lower than the cheapest fossil fuel fired option. Yeah, in this to 710 plus to minus 29%. Wind on share plus 95% to minus 52%. The global weighted average LCOE of offshore wind fell from being 258% more expensive than the cheapest fossil fuel option in 2010 to being just 70% more expensive in 2022. Its cost falling from USD 0.197 to USD 0.081. Concentrated solar power CSP saw its global weighted average LCOE fall down 591% higher than the cheapest fossil fuel, 71% higher in 2022, while hydropower's global weighted average LCO increased in 2021 to 2022 to USD 0. Largely owing to development of more challenging remote sites. It remains cheaper than new fossil fuel fire. This is also true for USD 0.056. And it's important to consider the wider economic and environmental benefits of renewable power in of affordable energy supply by reducing exposure to volatile of fossil fuel the indirect of this